I got a quick question written down. So in the past, you've expressed disapproval at Twitter's decision to ban Milo Yiannopoulos' account. Keeping this in mind, do you believe that Simon & Schuster made the correct decision in canceling Yiannopoulos' book deal over his most recent scandal? And do you believe that a company should prioritize their shareholders in making a decision to protect their profits, or should they risk their business endeavors to promote free speech for people like Yiannopoulos?
Okay, so I don't think that publishers have an obligation to print everybody's book. As somebody who's submitted many book proposals over many years, I don't think the publishers have an obligation to promote anybody's book if they feel they're going to lose money on it. As far as Twitter claims to be, its own sort of claim is that it's sort of a free speech haven, and so it seems to define its central principles wrongly by banning people. And so, and let me say for the record that as anybody who has watched me for the past year knows, I am no fan of Milo's. I have not been a fan of Milo's. I find Milo appalling, and I have for well over a year. I've stayed silent on this latest stuff because honestly, you don't kick a guy while he's down. But the fact is that Milo, what's happened with Milo actually says less about Milo than it does about the conservative movement that I find troubling, right? I think that just to give you a few examples of stuff that Milo's done over the past year, in a few weeks ago, he suggested to a Muslim girl in an audience that she shouldn't be wearing a hijab in America. As a guy who wears a funny hat every day of the week, I think that's awful, right? Milo's somebody who said that he called a Jewish journalist from BuzzFeed a thick as, what was it? It was a typical example of a sort of thick as pig shit media Jew. Right? Milo, on the day of my child's birth, sent me a meme of a black baby suggesting my kid was half black because I'm a cuck, because I'm not sufficiently supportive of Donald Trump. He's talked about how the alt-right is this wondrous milieu of intellectual decency and honesty, full of brilliant people, while openly acknowledging that the alt-right actually says that Western civilization and ethnicity are inherently connected, right? He did all of this before all this stuff came down. So my only disappointment on all of this stuff is that, I think that conservatives should have said this is all bad stuff a long time ago. I don't think that it should have taken tape of Yiannopoulos saying that 30-year-olds having sex with 13-year-olds is great in order for people to say this was not great stuff. So if the only standard on the right is, we'll accept anyone who pisses off the left, our only standard is you can't say that it's good for 30-year-olds to have sex with 13-year-olds, I think we can have a little bit higher standards.